These guys out here, every one of them selling out, wanting a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
The AFC Championship was an unlikely destination for the Tennessee Titans after stumbling to a 1-4 start.
McNair dropping, slips.
But the 2002 season was that much sweeter, simply because they came out of nowhere.
Down the right side, Bennett's wide open at the 5. End zone! Touchdown! Titans!
Retain the play! Retain the play!
McNair escapes!
Against the Raiders, they grabbed a 17-14 lead late in the first half. An upset was on the tip of everyone's tongue.
Put the pressure on them! They'll burst! They'll burst!
Sad to say, it was Tennessee's bubble that burst instead, when Oakland pulled ahead in the second half and left the Titans pondering what might have been in San Diego. Yet it was bittersweet, because while the year ended in heartbreak, 6 months before, most sports writers across the nation didn't even see the playoffs as an option. Following a 7-9 mark in 2001, the Titans' run for a ring was yesterday's news. Few thought they still had front-page potential. Surprise, surprise. Those few who stayed true blue proved to be the true prophets.
A controlled rage! Play with a controlled rage and passion. It's ours to win. It's our time now. Let's take it.
They started 1-4, but managed to turn in one of their greatest seasons ever. On defense, they recaptured their dominating mystique of 2 years ago, reminding opponents why they wear pads.
Yes, okay! Here we go!
The offense, which traditionally views time of possession as an extremely exciting stat, also found new life behind a truly inspirational quarterback.
The toughest man in football, right there.
They found clutch players in every corner of the locker room, all of whom were somehow overlooked, until they all pulled together as one unit, working together, rising back to the top of the National Football League. Excitement of opening day was suddenly hushed when star defensive end Javon Curse broke his foot on the second play of the game. But in the third quarter, just as it seemed they were about to call it a day, one quick slant cued a comeback.
McNair throws down the middle. Mason breaks the tackle. Asked for the big play. Get the big play from D. Mace.
Then one more slant cut Philly's lead to 10.
McNair dropping, throws, caught, the carrot!
The defense doubled the number of blitzes on Donovan McNabb, forcing 3 turnovers and 6 sacks, 3 by Curse's replacement, rookie Carlos Hall.
Crosswind going left, George trying to get to the outside, he drives, he dives, he got there!
20 unanswered points in the last quarter and a half knocked Philly for a loop. But in the weeks to come, it was the Titans who'd be wondering which end was up. The next Sunday in Dallas, it was Steve McNair who got a taste of a nasty pass rush, and Emmitt Smith who was dodging defenders.
Come on, get off the blocks and tackle!
Losses to the Cowboys, Browns, Raiders, and Redskins sentenced them to the basement of the AFC South, behind even the expansion Houston Texans. What happened? Was the comeback win against Philadelphia a hoax? Maybe. Or maybe it was as simple as one reporter wrote, "This team is just not very good, and far from a Super Bowl contender." Coach Fisher's solution was to turn up the heat at practice, reinforcing a blue-collar ethic. Bring your lunch pail every day, because the season was far from over.
Go back and huddle. Come on, get some tempo here, tempo here.
He was convinced somewhere in this bunch lay the seeds of a team that could rival the Super Bowl Titans of 1999. Those seeds began to sprout against their old friends, the Jaguars, who they'd beaten 6 of the last 8 meetings. In week 6, the dominance continued.
He escaped. He might run. He pulls it down and throws for George in the end zone. Touchdown! Titans!
The Titans' tenacious defense shut down Jacksonville's offense, holding them to 68 passing yards and intercepting them twice. It was the beginning of Tennessee's long journey back to AFC preeminence. In Week 8, Eddie George ran roughshod over Cincy, adding to a career rushing total that would eclipse Earl Campbell's franchise mark later in the year. Steve McNair threw 3 second-half touchdowns to bring them back from 14 down.
He's down the right side looking for Mason. Touchdown! Titans!
The biggest story of the day, though, centered on the defense. After surrendering 2 early touchdowns, they tightened like a vice. But in the waning minutes of the game, with the Bengals deep in Tennessee territory, the Titans needed 4 straight defensive stops to seal the win.
Titans coming with all sorts of big people. Give Dillon running right. He's tripped. He dives. He did not get in. The Titans have held.
The dramatic goal line stand was just one example of the resiliency of Tennessee's defensive unit.
In trouble. Sack! That's Carter again.
Led by coordinator Jim Schwartz, they were vital in Tennessee's turnaround. They reduced their average points allowed from 32 to 15 and became the league's #1 unit during their last 11 regular season games.
All we do is make plays, baby. We in it to win it.
And with first place in the division on the line, the defense almost single-handedly won the game. They held Indianapolis scoreless through 3 quarters, and a punishing pass rush forced 3 turnovers.
Detroit quickly intercepted. Peter Sermon. Manning dropping. Pressure coming. He's hit. He fumbles. Ball is loose at the 37. It's been picked up by Bullock. He breaks the tackle. Number 53, Keith Bullock, takes her to the house.
In 3 weeks, they went from last to first place in the AFC South. But if you think they were satisfied, you've got another thing coming. Tennessee's metamorphosis continued to show when the Houston Texans came to town in Week 10. The Titans' first drive lasted 13 plays and covered 93 yards.
Derek Mason reaches the ball over. What an effort by D. Mace!
McNair, who didn't practice much of the week because of a sore toe, was good to go once he got his cleats on. And late in the third, he hit Shad Meyer with one of his prettiest passes of the year.
He fades it to the end zone looking for Meyer. Shad caught it. Touchdown! Titans!
The Titans' victory over the Texans came relatively easy. But the next week, they faced a battle of epic proportions with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee's physical, bruising defense manhandled Pittsburgh, shutting down any potential big play opportunities.
Oh, did he lay the smackdown on it? He fires deep for Hines Ward, who's there. Lance Schulters picks her off. The third INT of the game for the Titans.
He handed it to Eddie, got some good blocking on the left side of the line, shot through there and went airborne across the goal line.
The Titans were playing well in all phases of the game, reminiscent of the '99 championship team. Now they were gearing up towards getting that extra yard.
McNair has now thrown a touchdown pass in 23 straight games. That streak now leads the NFL.
The Titans have had a guiding hand for years in Steve McNair. In 2002, he showed he's still growing and getting better. McNair leads by example, and this Mississippi country boy showed dedication, hard work, and sacrifice. He demonstrated elusiveness and heart. Despite numerous injuries that took him out of practice for 41 days at the end of the season, there was no question Steve McNair would be on the field come game day.
McNair looking deep down the left side. Touchdown!
Throughout those injury-riddled weeks, McNair guided the Titans to an undefeated December. This fierce competitor put himself on the line and refused to let his team down.
That's what I'm saying, Steve. That's what I'm saying. Take him on your back.
Arguably the league's most irreplaceable player, McNair was overlooked everywhere except for the Mid-South, which was hard to believe after number 9 walked the Titans into Giant Stadium in Week 13. Coordinator Mike Heimerdinger emptied the backfield and lined up 5 capable pass catchers, allowing McNair to connect with 9 different receivers for 334 yards.
McNair fades it into the end zone for Bennett, left side, touchdown! Titans!
Still, the Titans faced an 8-point deficit late in the fourth quarter. In the clutch, the quarterback called on Mr. Reliable, Frank Wycheck.
9 seconds left. The Titans have to go for 2. They are 1 of 5 on the year in 2-point tries. McNair takes the snap. Quarterback draw. He's in there! And we've got a tie ball game.
Though wincing in pain from a rib injury he battled during the week, McNair had just enough left in his tank in overtime to lead Tennessee downfield and set up their 3rd double-digit comeback of the season.
Holding Craig Hendrick. Snap. Set. Kick on the way. Good! The Titans come from behind and steal one at the Meadowlands.
For 19 years, I was honored to play for you. Thank you.
For nearly 2 decades, Bruce Matthews helped make the Titans contenders. Ironically, the team honored him on a week when the national press labeled the 2002 Titans pretenders. They sought to disprove their detractors with a fast start. McNair got them going when he found rookie running back John Simon streaking down the left sideline.
Little John Simon from Steve McNair for a big 6.
Tennessee's defense faced a challenge as Peyton Manning attempted to confuse them with his line of scrimmage audibles.
The next time that points you out, say, yeah, mother! I'm coming! Right up your...
But there was nothing Manning could do to stop the Titans from keying in and intercepting him 3 times.
He drops, looks left, throws the slant, intercepted Bullock. They fooled Manning. Has some pressure, rolls to his right, fires downfield into the end zone. He caught it in bounds. Tank Williams with his first career interception.
Where did the nose man go?
I have no idea. I don't know.
You weren't blocking anybody then.
Number 2 deep is my ass. Look at us right here, we balling.
With the Colts' offense stifled, Tennessee's offense took advantage of Indy's defense.
High right, 15-4, on go.
Eddie George ran in for 2 short scores, helping Tennessee earn a 27-17 victory. They had won 7 of their last 8 games, leaving them with only 1 question for their critics.
Who's the pretenders and who's the contenders now?
Motorola presents the greatest call of the season.
This is going to be a touchdown.
Tennessee Titans head coach Jeff Fisher dialed up Steve McNair to Kevin Dyson against the blitz.
McNair under center. Blitz coming up the middle, picked up, throwing the flat, Dyson at the 6, cuts back, 5, goal line! Touchdown! Titans! Kevin Dyson breaks the plane!
Pushed around the defending Super Bowl champs, opening holes for Tennessee's committee of running backs. Number 35, Robert Holcomb, provided a breather for Eddie George. The Titans also got valuable yardage from John Simon, Mike Green, and even Steve McNair. The defense held the Patriots to just 7 points, sacking Tom Brady 3 times.
Brady from the gun takes the snap, throws right side quickly, ball up in the air, intercepted Rich Cody.
Rich Cody's 24-yard interception return was the icing on a 24-7 New England drubbing. In Jacksonville, the Titans again steamrolled the Jaguars when 2 early touchdowns put the Jags into a hole they couldn't escape. Tennessee abused Mark Brunell, wrapping up the game with a defensive score.
He got tired of getting beat up the whole game, and he just flung that ball across the middle, and Sermon just steps in front of it, makes a nice, easy interception, then takes it all the way back.
More importantly, they took a quick second to celebrate. They'd just won the AFC South title and a spot in the playoffs. Someone must have told the special teams that one more win meant a week off.
Titans gonna go after it. It's blocked! Blocked by Boyman!
2 blocked kicks in the first half helped Tennessee jump to a 6-0 lead, while the defense held Houston to 28 yards rushing all game and reminded rookie David Carr he might want to keep working on that deep ball.
Intercepted! Samori roll!
On a key 3rd and long, McNair was nice enough to show him how it's done.
Throws deep downfield left side. There's Bennett. He's running. He got it! Bennett! The Titans hit the bomb!
Winning 10 of their last 11 games, the hottest team in football got their well-deserved week off before a classic postseason showdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They have to be ready to come out and play 60 minutes aggressive, hit you in the face football. If they do that, they can maybe wear the Steelers down.
68,000 fans bundled up for a history-making afternoon.
Here we go! Here we go!
Only one team had ever started 1-4 and made it farther than the Titans were at that moment. It was time to make it 2.
You got to be ready! Let's go! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3!
They were ready, snatching the momentum on the second play from scrimmage.
Maddox throws right side ball, intercepted. 40 seconds into the game.
Zero left. Quarterback rush left.
McNair takes the snap, quarterback draw, looking for room. 5, end zone, touchdown!
The offense was inspired and followed their first score with a marathon drive that lasted the rest of the first quarter and pounded Pittsburgh's pride in the dirt.
You're right. Wide left. 14, 8, 17 ball.
McNair gives George running left. Touchdown! Tight!
16 plays, baby. Let's go!
But the Steelers didn't roll over, soon cutting the lead to just 1 and pulling the Titans into one of the most physical games the league saw all year. Both teams felt the effects, but when Eddie George suffered a concussion at the start of the second half, it looked like the Titans had gotten the worst of it.
And they're calling the trainers out to get him.
Eddie goes. He's gone, baby. He's gone.
Pittsburgh soon held the lead and all the momentum, but Tennessee's ace in the hole was, as always, their banged-up signal caller.
McNair takes a straight drop, looks left, looks, looking deep, rolling left.
All season, McNair had shown he had the smarts and the guts to get the job done. And just in case anyone wasn't looking then, he did it again. First, by tracking down an old friend.
He catches it. What a job by Wycheck. Looks, throws into the end zone. Caught! Wycheck! What a revival!
After nearly disappearing from the offense, Wycheck had a career day. Then McNair, despite losing a chunk of his thumb, pulled the offense together yet again and drove Tennessee back into the lead.
Holcomb takes the handoff. It's a fake. No! It's a throw to Kenny. It's a catch by Kenny.
But while the defense turned the black and gold black and blue, Pittsburgh had just enough tricks up its sleeve to knot the game at 31 and set up one of the wildest finishes in playoff history.
McNair looking. Rolls right, trying to get away. Throws downfield. It's caught! It's McCarron! And so now here is Nedney as he tries to win the game. And the Steelers ask for timeout. Would have been good, but it doesn't count. The Steelers did ask for timeout.
Nobody told the fireworks man.
Someone had the itchy trigger finger.
They're all going off.
They'll try again after the Pittsburgh timeout.
Snap, set, kick on the way. No good. And let's see. Is there a penalty marker? Running into the kicker, Pittsburgh.
Someone ran into the kicker.
Nedney had one more chance to lift the Titans to the AFC Championship game.
Is the third time going to be the charm? Snap, set, kick. Yes! Good! Joe Nedney!
They did make history and joined, ironically, the 1976 Pittsburgh Steelers as the only other team to start 1-4 and go on to play for the conference title.
That was incredible. Incredible. The way this game went like this and like that, like this. Every single person. Just remember where we were at 1-4 and where you are now, okay? Because it makes it that much sweeter. It's that much sweeter.
There's an old Army saying, the difficult can be done immediately. The impossible takes a little longer. For the Titans, going from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the mountain took a Herculean effort, but only 12 games. They were a symbol of what is possible. Underestimated or simply overlooked. They were the league's comeback kids who grew up and proved they were contenders.
Hey, let's do the dang thing, huh? I know. Let's do it, baby.
In 2002, they did do it, as the NFL witnessed the rising of the Tennessee Titans.
NFL faceplates, ringtones, screensavers.
Hello, Moto.